Hello everyone. This week I'm going back to the roots of my channel with a personal development book, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Dr. Joe Dispenza, released on February 15th, 2012. And the book has 303 pages, not including appendices and the endnotes and all that. As I said, it's a personal development book, and to quickly give it a run through, and then I'll explain why I kind of read this, because I haven't read a personal development book in a long time. So this book, the goal of this book is to not talk about the external things in your life, not how to change anything outside, but really to focus on the inside. And when I started this channel, that was a big focus of mine. But how this book is broken down is Dr. Joe Dispenza, first he explains how your mind operates on a scientific level. He explains how cells, brain cells create connections with each other. He constantly uses this saying that I think it's like cells that fire together, wire together, or something like that. And the point is that he's a firm believer that you can change and alter things about your personality and your body and the world around you by changing essentially how you think, and that how you think changes the physiology of your brain. So he explains scientifically how that works, how the brain cells work and receive information and create like personality traits. That's kind of part one of the book. Then part two of the book explains how meditation, how your brain works while meditating, and how your brain interacts while meditating, and how the shifts occur, which is something I never really looked into too much. I just took meditation as a good thing at face value, and I never thought about the science behind it, because I thought, oh, it's spiritual. They've made like there's no science, it's a spiritual thing. But he kind of says, you know what, like he's a neuroscientist, and he's done many experiments on people meditating and things like that, brain imaging, etc., and kind of shows like this is how your brain works when you're in different states. And he goes through these different like alpha states, or alpha waves, theta waves, beta waves, and I'm making it sound like a lot more complicated than it is. But he explains it, like he dumbs it down nicely, in the sense of like, when you're born, this is what your brain typically is in. And then when you get older, your brain's in this kind of waves. And then as we get in our adult life, I believe we're in this constant like stress, beta wave, like our minds are kind of too high frequency, where we're worrying about everything, and we're thinking, how can we change all these problems? And that's, in his explanation, how we get sick, how we get diseases, most diseases, how these kind of negative things keep happening in our lives, because then we program our personality to kind of like recreate this cycle, this loop, because in our minds, that's what we want. Even though we don't consciously want it, subconsciously, we're gaining something from it. Anyway, I'm rambling on. Then part three is then, which is great. The point of this book is part three, is how to meditate. He gives step by step, and he says, start week one, just do this step. And then week two, do these steps, and kind of compound until you get the whole process over a 4-week period is his recommendation. But he said, even if you take longer, it's fine, but like kind of try to master or learn each step as you're going, instead of trying to do the whole thing at once. And he provides this whole meditation process that he uses to rewire your brain. So the book's called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. And I gotta say, when this book was first recommended to me, I didn't want to read it, because I thought, at face value, I thought, oh, that means I gotta try to be someone I'm not to be successful. That's what my interpretation of the book was. But then by chance, somebody else referred a YouTube video to me of this gentleman, funny how the world works, of Dr. Dispenza talking about what he talks about in the book. And I had no idea that he was the author of this book. I just, okay, let me watch this video. And the way he explained it makes more sense. It's not about trying to be someone you're not or someone you don't want to be. It's about changing the elements of yourself that are not working for you, or things about yourself that you don't like because they're not true to who you are. So inherently, we might be an angry person, right? And I might not like that about myself. Let's say, as an example, that's what right now myself would be angry in that mindset. So breaking the habit of being myself would be trying to unwire this anger or this natural anger and rewire something new, like a state of happiness or gratitude or abundance or whatever. And that's what his real goal is. So I misinterpreted the title, and I hope other people don't misinterpret it. I hope other people don't misinterpret it. And yeah, so I plan to try to incorporate this meditation process. I need to reread the last part, and it's in chapters in bisection. So I need to really like dig in and take notes and like get that understanding. And there's also guided meditations I need to find to start this. But I really want to get into this because I am at this point this video will be released. I'll probably have just started school. I am 31 years old and I'm going to do my undergrad. Something I've been putting off for a long time. I'm not going to get into all the personal elements, but I'm looking forward to that, and I'm not worried about that. But for a while, like when I first started this channel, a lot of things were going well for me, and I felt like I was in that state, like kind of in these states of abundance and wealth and growth. And then in the last year or so, I've had to shift, and I want to get back to that kind of state of abundance. So I guess that's why, again, I believe in the universe and the, energy. And I guess that's why this book kept kind of showing up to me. And I guess why subtly I had to discover it in a roundabout way by watching a YouTube video up front by the author that I had no idea was the author of this book. So I took that as a sign, or whatever you want to call it. And I was like, okay, I really want to read this book. And I read it, and I felt empowered. Like, I haven't done the meditation yet, but I felt empowered and renewed with the feeling of, which I've already talked about many times in old videos, the power that I can create the life that I desire. What's different between myself now and 2 years ago, almost 2 years almost 2 years I've been doing this channel. Yeah, anyway, the difference between myself now and back then is I have a more real, not realistic, more real to myself vision of what I desire. I still want great, nice, fancy things and a successful life, but my desires are more real is the only word I can think of, true to myself. And that's why I'm really excited, because now I feel like I can really manifest what I want, because there's more of a coherence between what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling, and what I want. And that's all I have to say. I made a little bit of a personal, I got personal after the review. But check this book out if you're feeling like you're kind of stuck in life, if you're feeling nothing's changing for you and everything's constantly the same. This takes a different, more practical approach. There's less of those little stories about this person did it. There's some, but there's a lot more practical science knowledge. Just have an open mind that there is he even explains how there's an energy between the sub-particles in cells, the quantum realm, he calls it, the subatomic particles. I'm getting a little too sciencey right now, but he explains how there's an infinite possibilities of reality between what we can observe what we are observing and what could happen, etc. I'm rambling now. So I guess that's why I got stuck, really attached to it, because there's a huge scientific component. Yeah, so if you're open-minded, if you feel like you're stuck, you want to make a change, and you want to commit to a somewhat structured way of going about it, check this book out. That is Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Dr. Joe Dispenza. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care. Oh, and just as a throwback, let's keep growing together.